Despite the massive strides made by the Brown v. Board case on education equality, many issues were prevalent in the Black community throughout the 1960s. African Americans throughout the nation still suffered at the hands of systemic oppression, poverty, and as a result, community violence. Many civil rights groups in the 60s focused on these issues. However, the Black Panthers' radical approach to equality made them by far the most noteworthy. In the midst of Malcolm X's assassination, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense was created by Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton on October 15, 1966. The Black Panthers were founded on the basis of the 10-point program that outlined the goal and direction of the Black Panther Party.
The 10-point program goes as follows. We want freedom. We want the power to determine the destiny of our Black community. We want full employment for our people.
We want an end to robbery by the capitalists of our Black community.
We want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings.
We want education for our people.
We want all Black men to be exempt from military service.
We want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of Black people.
We want freedom for all Black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails.
We want all Black people when brought to trial to be tried in a court by a jury of their peer group or people from their Black communities.
We want land, bread, housing, clothing, justice, and peace.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying on its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such a form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
The Black Panther Party instituted these 10 points through social programs that serve the disenfranchised within the African American community. These social programs were meant to bridge the gap and provide necessities for those in need. An example of this is the 1968 free breakfast program offered to school-aged children in Berkeley, California. By 1969, this program grew to 19 cities, allowing for more than 20,000 children to receive free breakfast before school.
They even set up free clinics called People's Free Medical Centers spread throughout the 13 states, from Cleveland to Los Angeles. These clinics offered services such as testing for tuberculosis, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and immunization. These clinics also provided reproductive health services. The health services were mostly women-led due to the majority of Panthers being women.
To combat police brutality, the Panthers patrolled Oakland, ensuring that local arrests didn't turn violent, effectively policing the police. The Panthers took full advantage of California's laws that allowed them to carry firearms. It wasn't about violence or asserting dominance. It was about demanding the same rights available to white people and doing so by any means necessary. Panthers were known for reciting constitutional rights and laws to police officers who were violating them. Don Mulford, the Oakland representative, responded to the Panthers by attempting to repeal the bill that allows Californians to carry firearms in May of 1967, resulting in 30 armed Black Panthers protesting in the Capitol with hordes of media attention.
The Mulford legislation passed with advocacy from the National Rifle Association, ultimately illustrating the racial inequalities inherent within the legal system. This didn't discourage the Panthers.
In January of 1967, the Black Panther Party opened their first office in Oakland, California. The Black Panthers ultimately had the goal of attaining the equal civil rights that they wholeheartedly believed they deserved. To spread awareness to their civil rights agenda, the Black Panther Party published the first issue of the Black Panther Party Black Community News Service on April 25th of 1967. Over time, this newspaper has been viewed as propaganda by those who do not agree with the civil rights movement. Its publication was banned by the government, clearly exemplifying the breaking of constitutional right.
Starting these social programs and spreading awareness, the Panthers ultimately achieved their goal of providing necessities that the Black community lacked. While their radicalized approach to social change was seemingly effective, it drew attention from the FBI.
The FBI declared the Black Panthers a threat in 1967, enlisting the Counterintelligence Program to try and neutralize them. Previous targets of the counterintelligence program have been Martin Luther King, the Nation of Islam, American Indian Movement, the Socialist Workers' Party, and many more. Their methods include infiltration, psychological warfare, harassment via the legal system, and illegal force and coercion.
The counterintelligence program activity increased. In 1969, the tension between the FBI and the Black Panther Party began boiling over into confrontation. On December 14, 1969, prominent Black Panther leader Fred Hampton's Chicago home was raided by the Chicago police, resulting in the death of Hampton and another Panther member, Mark Clark. The raid was orchestrated by the FBI in conjunction with the Chicago Police Department. It was reported that the police fired at least 80 shots, while the Panthers only fired one.
Hampton was shot twice at point-blank range while asleep next to his pregnant fiancée. However, the Hampton family won $1.85 million from the city of Chicago in their wrongful death settlement. Former FBI agents came forward to support the claims that the FBI was implicated in his death.
Panthers are heralded as a group of great social momentum. Much of the controversy surrounding them is the misconduct and corruption within their organization. Huey Newton had been in jail several times and on trial for the murder of Kathleen Smith. He fled the country to evade prosecution. In October 1977, 3 Panthers attempted to assassinate a key witness to the murder, who was testifying against Newton. Newton was later accused of embezzling money from Panther-funded schools, which led to the disbandment of the Panthers in 1982. Additionally, several members were implicated in the murder and torture of Alex Rackley, a suspected informant for the FBI.
Another point of contention leading to the dissolution of the Panther Party was their alliance with SNCC, a prominent civil rights group. One of the main points of dispute was the inclusion of whites in the struggle for minority liberation, a dispute which caused an open gunfight in the campus of UCLA against the Group US, led by Maulana Karenga, which led to the death of 2 Panthers. In September, in the government's courthouse, Huey Newton was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced 15 years in prison. By 1970, the conviction is appealed and overturned due to procedural errors. On November 25, 1968, Kathleen and Eldridge Cleaver flee to Cuba and Paris and eventually settle in Algeria, leaving the Black Panther Party leaderless.
Ultimately weakened by external attacks, legal problems, and corruption, the Black Panthers declined as a political party. Their contributions to the Black community is a significant part of both Oakland and Black history. On a larger scale, their legacy of unapologetic activism and their demanding for inalienable rights in such a momentous time period solidifies them as vanguards of the revolution.